Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Sunday, November the 13th. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. Weekly, open, and gap. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. So let's go ahead and take a look at the weekly. As you can see, the gap has not filled on the pound dollar, and we have about 5 or 6 pairs in total that the gap has not filled this week. Notice we opened above the weekly pivot, and we will just take a look at the monthly right here, and you can see we're 299 pips now, 300 above the monthly open, 90 off the high, and 619 off the low, and we are still above the wick zone of the previous month. We're putting in the opening range for the week, and you can see we're way above the opening range for the month by 199 pips at the moment. And we're 1,762 or 61 pips below the yearly open. We're 1406 above the yearly low and 1985 below the yearly high. We are above the inside bar of last month. We're also above the inside bar on the daily from 19 days ago. But notice we have lots of inside bar action. So for you inside bar traders, let me know if you're an inside bar trader. I haven't heard anybody saying that they were, but it's definitely a trade that can pay off. It's one of those ones where you really have to be patient. And we are a little over 7 hours into the trading day, and it looks like we've got 6 pairs with 100 pips or more. Notice the pound or the dollar yen is moving up 25 pips over the daily open at the moment. And the euro is at $1.03. Remember, just a few weeks ago, it was, I think, down to 95. So anybody trading the euro out there, let me know if you took advantage of that move off the bottom. You can see the gap right here, and we've crisscrossed that weekly open. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. The range is large enough for the rats, so green rats, if you're looking maybe to see if it's going to fill that gap. On the pivots, we've got Bambino Flex indicator indicating to go long at the pivot, and the pivot trading plan says to go long at the pivot, and I'm not sure if that's paid off because right now we're about 16, 17 pips below the pivot. Looking, we're above the weekly pivot right here. We've taken out the monthly, and we've taken out the daily pivot. It said to go long, but it doesn't look like that's paying off at the moment. Nowhere near the wick zones of the previous day. And one thing about the wick zone trade, it's one of those ones where you just have to take the trade, not try to guess at what it's going to do, and just set up your parameters so that you won't lose any more than you're willing to lose, but you have a chance to make a gain. And I think I've mentioned this before, that trading is a lot like exercise. Just so you know, I had my group fitness certification. I used to teach group fitness before the COVID hit. I haven't gotten back into it. But the thing is, you start out with light weights, and then over time you increase it. And it's one of those things where, you could work out for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and maybe you don't really see anything. Then all of a sudden one day, you're taking a shower, you look in the mirror, and it's like, oh, what's that? Muscles. Wow. Or, hey, or you notice your pants are falling off, or you're having to take up an extra notch in the belt. Well, see, trading's the same way. You start out small. Even if you have a large account, you start small. And then you just start steadily working your way up, because it's not about any one particular trade. And I know we've talked about this before, but it's more like at the end of the session, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, where are you? And it's real hard sometimes to get tunnel vision. Like I've mentioned before, playing chess, you don't just look at a couple of squares, you have to look at the whole board. Because sometimes if you don't, you miss opportunities. You miss seeing the trap. And the thing about executing trades, though, you know what your parameters are, and the question is whether or not you can stick with it. I think I was reading somebody else's trading forum, or maybe I was listening to somebody else's trading video, and they were mentioning that, the game of trading really isn't about winning or losing on any particular trade. It's more about whether or not you followed your plan. Because if you don't follow your plan, if you don't have a plan, then you're just messing around. It's like you're not taking this trading seriously. And the idea for you as a trader is to get better at following your plan. Because if you get better at following your plan, then if you've got a plan that's profitable, you're going to make the money. And so if you go back and if you look at your losses, was it because the market got you, or was it because you deviated from your plan? Instead of waiting, for maybe 2 more points before you entered the trade, you thought you could outsmart the market, you jumped in, and next thing you know, you got in at an inflection point that's not going to be seen for maybe a day or two. I mean, you can look at some of these trades here. I mean, this would have been a perfect example. You're looking, prices going down, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to jump in because it's going to break. And next thing you know, it didn't. I mean, it's so easy sometimes. But I mean, if you look at here, I mean, this is like a turn trade. I mean, you had a turn trade off the bottom, which is a bear candle followed by a bull candle. Remember, every trend, quote unquote trend, starts out with this pattern at either at the bottom or the reverse. A bull candle followed by a bear candle at the top. I mean, the funny thing about it is, it's just something that I saw. I was like, wait a minute, this is almost obvious. But why hasn't anybody that I've come across ever really talked about it? They always talk about, trends and everything. And it's something that, I believe exists only in the mind of the trader. But the point being is that these moves from bottom to top and then top to bottom all have this pattern. And so when you see it, it's like, oh, this could be it. I mean, you see it right here. This could have been it, but nope. This could have been it. Yes. And I'm seeing this huge bar here, and I'm thinking price almost has to come back down to take out that return bar. That's just the way I see things. But it may not. I don't know. But this is where you analyze the trade, and if you want to wait on a trade to develop for that long, maybe you say, well, the stop is here. You put your position size, set it accordingly for how many pips, and that's almost 100 pip moves. So, but then down here's like a 400 pip or 300 pip move. So you go, okay, that's a 3-to-1. Those, reward risk. 3 reward versus 1 risk. Do you want to take that trade? I mean, maybe if you had an account, you put maybe just 1 mini lot, $1 a pip, and see what happens. And we take a look at the weekly range right now. We're only at 65. We've got a lot of movement left here for the week. Walmart, actually, for the past 7 hours here, there was actually a lot of price action in terms of range. So you could have actually done some Walmart trades there. And I'm glad that traders out there are liking that Walmart and I are doing some, taking these videos, actually trading in real time, and then uploading them. Once again, I really don't have the bandwidth. Like I did when I used to live in Arizona, when I had, 3 computers, actually 5 computers online with all the bandwidth I needed. I could do that, but, living in rural Oregon, not so much. So hopefully you can watch those videos and learn and put those, if you want to, you could put, what we do into your own practice, or maybe you can glean something from what we do and add that to your practice. Let's see, we had a lower high trade trigger here. Looks like it was good for about 5 pips a couple of times. And you might have another one coming up. We'll just have to wait and see. And we haven't added much to the range yet here in November. So we'll just have to see what happens this week. And looking here, using the trade reminder, I see something that I don't know if I've mentioned before, but we talk about the opening range for the week. Well, there's some traders like to use the opening range, but instead of using the daily, they like to use just that H4 candle, because for them it pays off. And you can see here it broke that low, and you could have probably picked up about 10 pips. I know there's one guy out there, he likes that trade. He likes to make about 5 pips. He trades at a size where he'll walk away with somewhere, I don't know, $700 to $1,000. Trades pretty heavy, but he just wants that one trade per day. Then he goes off and does other things. Because you can't spend your whole life trading. You got to do other things. I mean, and that's something we might talk about this week, is why do you trade? I mean, what is it you want to accomplish? Something to think about. In fact, let me know, so when we talk about it, we can maybe kick your ideas around. So, fellow traders, I hope you had a fun and safe weekend. I wish you a profitable week. And remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.